Early General Hospital spoilers hint at a tense change happening in Port Charles. It looks like Willow isn't just trying to stay one step ahead of Chase anymore, she might actually be getting ready to take him out. What used to seem like fear now feels more like careful planning. What used to come across as emotional instability now just seems like a calculated move. Chase is getting too close to truths Willow isn't ready to face, and with each question, the grip on her carefully built control gets tighter. The more he looks into things, the more he ends up getting in the way without realizing it. Willow has come to a place in her mental decline where she doesn't try to deal with obstacles, she just gets rid of them. She's been acting a bit different lately, and it's starting to worry me. She doesn't act on impulse anymore. She thinks ahead. She watches people carefully before they even say a word. She carefully sows seeds of doubt during conversations, choosing her words with exact care. When Chase shows confidence in going after justice, Willow stays calm and doesn't freak out. She makes the adjustment. That's what makes this change so unsettling. Panic feels all over the place, but adjusting takes a clear, steady approach. It means you should make a plan. It shows a mind that has moved past its limits and doesn't hold back because of moral doubts anymore. She's starting to feel this intense, restless energy growing inside her. People's desire to control every part of the story has grown so much, it almost feels like an obsession. She can't risk being seen, not now, especially with so many secrets hidden just below the surface. If Chase keeps pushing ahead, keeps pointing out the gaps, and keeps questioning the shaky story she's built, he's not just threatening her freedom, he's threatening who she really is. Willow isn't the kind of woman who cracks under pressure anymore. She's the woman who changes the way the battlefield is set up. People no longer think it's an exaggeration to say she might go way beyond what anyone expects. That sounds believable. She's already shown she's willing to twist evidence, mess with the emotions of anyone who questions her, and shift the blame onto other people. The next step wouldn't be sudden violence. It would be a planned removal, framing Chase, calling him out. He was damaging his career, or maybe something that lasts even longer. Just thinking about it makes a wave of dread spread through how the story unfolds. Chase, oddly enough, thinks he's making progress. He feels like he's gotten a bit closer to finding out the truth. But with every step forward, you might just be sinking further into Willow's new plan. If she started to predict what he'll do next, then he's not really hunting, he's the one being sized up. The mood around him has changed. Talking feels heavy. The interactions come off as scripted. Even the people closest to him might not realize just how shaky his situation really is. This change in Willow's character marks a turning point. She stopped just reacting to what happens around her and started taking charge of how things unfold. By doing this, she ends up pushing Chase away more than if she had just confronted him. If she manages to make him seem unstable, corrupt, or compromised, his role in the story could quickly get much smaller. The warning signs are clear, things are getting more tense, the risks are getting higher. And she's making bolder moves. Chase feels pressed for time not because he lacks strength, but because he doesn't fully grasp how much Willow has changed. The woman he used to trust or thought he knew doesn't follow the same moral rules anymore. Obsession has taken over where restraint once was. Control has taken the place of conscience. Once a character hits that point in their psychological growth, anyone who gets in their way doesn't have a good chance of coming out okay. If Willow really decides that Chase has to be removed from her path, there's no way the fallout will go quietly. It's going to be intense. Jobs will fall apart. Alliances are going to break apart. And the shockwaves will change the power structure of Port Charles completely. Once someone goes past the point of just trying to survive and starts causing damage on purpose, they can't go back to the person they used to be. And Willow is getting really close to that point. With rumors going around that Josh might be close to finishing his contract, the mood around Chase's story feels heavier and more tense, almost like it's meant to feel off balance. When you have contract uncertainty mixed with someone already caught in rising tension, it usually doesn't lead to a calm solution. It shows there's been an impact. And looking at how things are going for Chase, it seems clear that some real impact is on its way. Chase has been feeling more and more overwhelmed by pressure, the pressure to prove himself, to regain his credibility, and to keep control over stories that are slipping further away from him. His drive to trap Michael and go after him hard has become more personal than just business. It shows frustration, ego, and a rising urge to take control. The harder he pushes, the more the situation blows up. Michael isn't just a sitting duck. He's got friends, some pull, and a bit of sway. Putting pressure on him in public or through a plan might end up backfiring in ways Chase doesn't expect. At the same time, Brooklyn is stuck right in the middle. Chase's ramping up tactics are putting a lot of strain on things at home. At first he's simply doing his job, but over time it starts to take over and become something more like an obsession. Talks often end up as arguments. Doubt starts to creep in. Brooklyn notices the tension rising and realizes that Chase's intensity isn't just putting his career at risk, but their marriage too. If he keeps pressuring Michael without solid proof, he could end up looking foolish and even harm his career. And right above it all, there's Willow. Willow's influence has grown little by little. She isn't just reacting to accusations anymore. She's actually shaping what happens next. The harder Chase tries, the more she finds a way to keep up. If Chase starts acting careless, Willow steps up and thinks things through. If he pressures Michael, she quietly shifts the suspicion away. If he throws Brooklyn off emotionally, Willow stays calm and collected, almost peaceful. That difference feels a bit off. It gives a feeling of control. This is where the new obsession starts to take shape. Willow's power isn't hidden in the shadows anymore, it's built into the very structure. She gets how leverage works. She gets how people see things. If Chase is really close to a big moment because of contract questions, then Willow stepping up like this matters even more. When one character is growing their influence and another is causing trouble, it's rarely just a coincidence. It's a trajectory. Chase trying to push both Michael and Brooklyn might just be the thing that sets off his own downfall. The harder he tries, the more alone he feels. Michael might respond with a careful plan. Brooklyn might start wondering if Chase's obsession is really worth all the fallout. And Willow, keeping a close eye, could take the chance to pull ahead even more. If she decides to push things further, maybe by twisting the facts, pointing out a weakness, or just letting Chase's own anger get the better of him, she doesn't have to attack head-on. She just needs to steer the explosion. That explosion feels like it's about to happen any second now. Timing really matters. Every time Chase shows up, the contract speculation makes the scenes feel more tense. Every heated confrontation feels heavy. Every sudden move feels like it could be your last. If the story is heading toward a big change, then Chase getting more aggressive with Michael, along with the stress Brooklyn is feeling, might be what sets it all off. Willow's influence is growing, and as Chase loses control, it's opening up a power vacuum that's already starting to shift things. In soap storytelling, when obsession takes over, clarity and pressure kills patience. Someone's bound to end up paying the price. The question now isn't if things will explode. It's about who's still standing when they arrive. The unthinkable moment comes not with chaos, but with a quiet, chilling clarity. Willow stays calm and doesn't act in a frenzy. She moves with clear purpose. Chase has gone too far, dug up too much, and now the fragile empire of control she's built around herself is at risk. And when he faces her and finally speaks the truth out loud in front of Drew, something inside her changes for good. There's no more hesitation and no more second guessing. The change that has been growing inside Willow finally comes together. Survival turns into complete eradication. Drew just stands there, unable to believe what's happening. He had noticed Willow getting more unstable, catching glimpses of her obsession hiding under her calm. But even he didn't see this coming. Chase's last words linger, filled with blame. And Willow's face shifts in a way that sends a chill straight through the room. It's not rage. It is resolution. In that moment, Drew understands he's not seeing a meltdown, but a deliberate crossing of a line. The action happens quickly. Final. That can't be changed. And the quiet that follows feels unbelievably loud. Drew's shock hits him deep inside. He's been pushed around before, held back, controlled, and told to stay quiet, but this time feels different. This is getting into something much darker. Willow stays calm after the act. She looks at Drew with a calmness that feels a bit off, like this is just another step in some bigger plan. That calm is what breaks him. This shows it wasn't something that just happened on the spot. She had thought it through well before the confrontation even started. What follows isn't just a crime. It's a change. Willow moves into a new mental space, one ruled by obsession and total control. She quickly makes sense of what she did. Chase was dangerous. Chase would have ruined everything. Chase left her no choice. She sees the story changing in her head in just a few seconds. She thinks she's got rid of all the chaos. She thinks she's kept the bigger plan safe. But Drew sees it another way. The shock hitting him starts to feel unstable, like it could blow up at any moment. He's not just caught in her web anymore, now he's watching it all unfold. And that really shifts who holds the power in a big way. Willow feels it too. You can feel the mood changing. Drew's quiet isn't just agreeing anymore, it's thinking things through. His eyes don't just show confusion anymore. Now they hold horror and a clear understanding. This is the new obsession coming to life. Willow needs to take control over more now. One change means another change is needed. She needs to make sure Drew stays quiet. She needs to change how the story about Chase's disappearance is told. She needs to be ready for investigations before they even start. Her manipulation spreads much further all of a sudden. What used to be about just getting by now turns into controlling every story that involves her. And the shockwaves spread out from there. Brooklyn will fall apart when Chase suddenly disappears in a suspicious way. Michael is going to question the timing. Port Charles will whisper. Suspicion will spread quickly, just like smoke. But Willow thinks she can handle it. She has stepped through the door, and doing so has made her tougher. Drew ends up being the wild card. Seeing that happen sparks something inside him. He can't forget what he's seen. He just can't make sense of it. The woman he used to trust and defend has shown her true self. Inside, his shock slowly turns into a deep, silent anger. Willow, noticing the change, grabs on even tighter, pushing her control to the edge of desperation. The tragedy isn't just about Chase anymore. It's the point where the bond between Willow and Drew breaks beyond repair. The moment violence happens, it doesn't stop the story, it pushes it forward faster. Willow's slide into obsession is clear to see. She thought cutting out threats would bring stability. But that idea starts to fall apart when new dangers pop up from the aftermath. The biggest risk now isn't about what she's already done, but what she's willing to do next to keep up the illusion. The explosion doesn't happen all at once. It's like one thing sets off another. Drew's surprise turns into resistance, when resistance turns into retaliation. And Willow's tight grip starts to wear thin under the pressure of pushing things too far. The obsession has hit a whole new level. The adjustment will stay in place. Poor Charles is about to change in ways no one will forget.